So obnoxious. It's unnecessary. Really.
I think it's probably required by law.
Yeah, probably.
Use that AI note-taking application.
No.
It's wonderful.
Is it?
It's
But
wonderful.
How does it tell like who's talking?
It doesn't.
Because that's the hard part.
Well,
That see, Marty.
If you want, or not.
I don't know. I'm very nervous. that
He's
I can
pretty
call
old,
anything.
Sandra, help him down. No. I'm concerned about his back. He's the right seating, right?
I didn't hear what.
I said you're pretty old, I thought maybe she should help you sit down. I know. Just not right.
You're only a year behind me.
I know, but Brian, it's a big year.
One of those extra long years, had more days.
Yeah.
Right, making those corrections.
No, I was gonna send it, but then I'm like, here.
So I have this random pile that's never
Yeah.
there, it was just stuff, and I didn't realize that I kind of had an idea what was in the pile.
It was pretty good. I mean,
So I was like,
Is this always the same?
yeah.
Sweet.
No, I thought I'd let you know ahead of time, so I was actually surprised that there were more than that.
Yeah, because I was like, hey, Margaret, did you send those to the stuff yet? And she goes, no, I'll do that right now.
Well,
And
thank
she
you.
goes to send it, and then I'm like, and then she's like, actually, never mind.
All was good. I found some edits on the minutes that she sent us,
I
so I
think
sent them back.
Oh, the fire ones.
The four, yeah.
Yeah.
Four instead of fire.
I didn't
And then
get the
half
first
the
one, and then I
sentence was-
kept reading, and I'm like, "Yeah, that don't seem right, and I kept reading, I'm like, okay, wait a second.
And there was half a sentence missing on the CEO report.
Yeah, and we adjourned like at 8 inches, 11 something. We're all good now, okay. All right, officially, we'll start at 6:01. And any adjustments to the agenda?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So I had 3 things that I needed to add to the agenda, and I didn't know if you wanted to do the helping hands where public comment.
I was just gonna
normally
ask,
be.
right?
Instead, so she doesn't have to sit through all of our beautiful
Sounds
reports.
Good, okay. Right, where did you have other things to add?
Oh, yes, so your county budget question.
Yeah.
I wanted to add to the agenda, dangerous building. And then, abatements and supplemental tax.
Okay, is that, I guess, oh, new business, right?
Yeah.
Okay. mm, Next. Dangerous building, what was the last one, abatement?
Abatements and supplemental tax.
Okay. Are you both okay? With Any adjustments?
Oh.
Okay,
Yes.
I
I just wanted to see what would happen.
know, I wanted to take that back as soon as I said it. All right, very good. And we're signing warrants. All right, review, oh, before we go on, I just wanted to officially say happy birthday to Brian.
Yeah,
because he's so old.
happy birthday, Brian.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you've done so much for this town and it's pretty monumental and it's a special birthday, so.
Absolutely.
All right. Minutes from October. You both have had time to look over those.
With your edits, they are perfect.
Oh, you're. Nice. Erin caught the edits too. Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor? Another one. All right, So, well, for public comment, I didn't see any sign up for public comment. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll pull up, Helping Hands presentation. You're up.
Okay.
Let's see if I can like take some of these. Okay.
Sure. Sandra, do you want one to?
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
It should just be
Yeah,
down
no, we
here.
take one, take one.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I had one for a minute there. Thank you.
You guys up here?
Yep, we got one.
So, hi, I'm Sue Mackey Andrews, and I live in Dover, Foxcroft, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Helping Hands with Heart. We are a regional organization that serves all of this region. Our mission is to make sure that all residents in all of our communities, which includes all of Piscataquis County and portions of Somerset and Penobscot counties, it's to be sure that they have all the resources that they need to live healthy, happy, and safe lives. This is not a new mission for us. It's a little bit updated over the last couple of years. We also advocate for our communities. Things like access to services and work with town managers on collective issues or singular issues. For example, I'm working with one of our communities on housing issues where there are sections of rental property that should be condemned, and residents are concerned about that. So that's some of the things that we do. But given the high poverty in our region, this is one of the reasons that we are here. We are a group of about 75 organizations and agencies and individuals that serve the region here. Many of our services come up from Bangor. And we get together on a monthly basis, and we have for 29 years. So a lot of people don't know about us, but we have been here for 29 years. You can go on. We have five, that's good, right there.
Okay.
We have 5 initiatives that currently we're working on now. And these all came from needs assessment or community members who came to us and said, could we do something about this problem? So we have a recovery wellness initiative. We started and supported them to expand substance use treatment with the hospital. And we also now have a county recovery center that's based in Sangerville that we started a couple of years ago, and that is operating wonderfully now to serve the region. We have a bundle initiative which provides 4 free boxes a year to every new baby in our region to welcome them into our community and into our county. And we also provide parent support and parent education. One of our goals is because we have very poor maternal child health metrics. Lots of problems with families getting access to well childcare. So this was to get more access and more visibility for services for them, and it has worked wonderfully. We have the Maine Highlands Working Communities Challenge, which is addressing poverty. And currently now we're working on a housing initiative, a tiny house initiative that also has a business development component, which would be a factory that would build the walls and units for us to use in our local communities. And I can give you more information about any of these things later. We also have the Maine Highlands Integrated Response Network, which is probably what I'm going to be talking most about, which is 75, 80 members who meet, maybe half of us meet every week for an hour, hour and a half on Wednesday morning to process referrals of people in the region. And the reason we do this is because we have no state services located within our region. We have no DHHS, we have no Department of Labor, we have no Department of anything up here. And it makes access for people very difficult. And I'll talk briefly about that in a minute. And we have a proud initiative. We're working with the sheriff to provide pre-release supports, I have to learn the new terminology, pre-release supports to justice-involved persons who live in our county to help them get hooked up with job training, jobs, housing, and financial supports so that we can reduce together recidivism or repeated jail sentences. We are often described in the public health literature, which is my background, as the oldest, poorest, and sickest region in our state. The bulk of our residents, more than 30%, are people like me who are over 65. About 30% of our persons under 65 have disabilities. So that would include children and adults, which is the highest percentage of disabled persons in the state in one county. And we only have about 20% of persons under 21, under 18 rather, and the bottom line of that I really tell people is that means we do not have the replacement capacity with our young people that we need in order to address the middle group of people who are working or people who are getting ready to retire, okay? We know our history. We know that from 2001 to 2014, we lost a lot of our manufacturing resources, a lot of our mills. We remember when we lost Moosehead, we remember when we lost Dexter Shoe, we remember all of that. And the thing that I remember most about this time, I've lived here almost 50 years now, was that this just didn't hit one person in a household. This hit every adult that was in that household, because usually if you had kids who had graduated from high school, or Uncle Charlie living with you, or your brother, or somebody else, your husband, yourself as a woman, everybody worked for the mill. And one day they were all out of work. And I remember us working with Eastern Maine Development Corps to get the unemployment people up here to work with folks who were coping with the change of life. And I mean a significant change of life, because that is not ever coming back as we knew it. It also affected our youth, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. In 2020, we all had fun with the COVID pandemic, something that happened to us all, but something that we have not recovered from economically or educationally for our kids. Yeah. There's a whole lot of other stuff and this is why one of our initiatives has been a mentoring initiative for all of our public schools in the region, because our kids basically have very poor aspirations. They don't see a lot of role models who are in different kind of careers, or they don't get exposed to that kind of stuff. In some families, education is not a priority, survival is a priority. So there's a whole lot of things that go along with that. We have been able to address substance use, particularly absenteeism in one school district, which was struggling with absenteeism. Through our mentoring initiative, we reduced absenteeism by 50% in 9 months, which is huge, absolutely huge. Next one. We are the second largest county geography-wise. We are a frontier county. Many people don't know this, but that means we have fewer than 6 people per square mile, which means it's hard to get to people, it's hard to move people, and it's hard to get services to them. The whole region that we serve is just under 25,000 people and about 2,400 kids in all of our public schools. Our greatest asset, and I mean this sincerely, is our people. They are warm, caring, loving people. They're hard workers. We may look at people from the outside and we may say they don't have much, but to them, they have what they need, and it's valuable. They worked hard for it, and all of that is significant to them, right? And then again, when we lost our manufacturing base, particularly 2001 to 2008, it affected the whole families. Many of the older generation would tell me that it was common for the factories, the mills, to hire youth in high school And then when they graduated from high school, they walked across the street and went to the mill and got a job. And they got a good paying job, and sometimes they got a house, you know, it's very secure for them. That doesn't happen anymore. Alice, I want to introduce this term to you. So Alice are asset limited, income constrained, but employed. So these are our working poor. And there's a chart in your packet that looks like this. And you'll see that Monson is in here. This combines the poverty rate and the Alice rate together. And you'll see that Monson has an Alice rate of 48%. So that means more than half of almost half of your residents are what we call the working poor. And your poverty rate is at 10.4. But I will tell you also that the Libra investment and the fact that you have lakes and recreation also mutes your poverty level substantially. And there was an article that in research we found from 2017 that described you as having a 75% poverty rate in this community. And you'd have to reflect on that to think about if you think that's true, right? And Elena might have talked about this. Next one.
That was before Libra came in.
No, that's actually 2017. When did they come in? They were already here, right?
So 2018.
2018. So that was before. What do you think it's kind of, where do you think it is? The poverty rate?
Now?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's close to 75%.
do you?
I think that Alice rate is very high in
Yeah.
Monson.
Yeah.
Most people work 2 and 3 jobs.
And they barely make it, right? So we work with a combination of federal, state, and local dollars to support people. We do have an unmet needs fund that is either donor operated or grants that helps to fill the gaps that nobody else funds. But we hold other organizations and agencies accountable for the work that they say they're doing in our region to make sure that they are making those contributions. So usually when we rehome somebody or when we help pay their rent or their car payments or their electric bill, it's 2 or 3 organizations who are contributing to pay that bill for the residents. Okay. And I just want to share the impact of the budget cuts that have already happened. About 1,600 people have lost their Maine care. These were people in our county who became eligible for Maine care under the Maine care expansion. And when that was eliminated, they lost their Maine care. This happened about 6 or 8 weeks ago. SNAP, we have about 2,300 people who have lost their SNAP coverage, including 680 children. I see the utility of SNAP for kids and older people is pretty high. We have a high population of older residents who rely on food stamps. And housing supports. Many people in our area live in subsidized housing or they receive a voucher to help them pay their rent. And that those have been limited, and now in the proposed budget at the federal level, those will be reduced by 60%. So we will have people who do not have the capacity to pay their rent. Next one. So if we just look at our population just quickly, this just shows us kind of how we're distributed. And again, highlights that low population under 25 years of age. We also have a high percentage of veterans. Maine has a generally higher percentage of veterans than any other state in the country. Aroostook in our state has more veterans per capita than we do, but we are second. And our veterans range across all of the wars. We are 4th in the state. And increasingly, what we're seeing as a consequence of this is homeless veterans. We now have 4 homeless veterans on our caseload looking for housing for them. Transportation, not an easy thing. About half of our residents, if not more, have difficulty getting to where they need to be, like the grocery store or the doctors or even to work. We have worked with Penquist to expand Links Travel. They now drive some people back and forth to work during the daytime. They also take some of our older residents to church on Sunday, which is a really big thing for them, as well as other transportation. These are a referral activity for just helping hands where we have expended money to support people. And you can see that we rarely, if ever, have a referral from Monson. We do have 3 active cases now from Monson, but that's been since the end of October. We have weekly convenings for an hour with our partners, and the total value, the total dollar value of all of those people's time together, just during that hour, a little bit of follow-up afterward, is about $680,000 a year. So almost $1 million in just people getting together, talking about what people need up here and helping to make that happen. Next one. So our challenges are significant, and I just want to kind of give you broad strokes about this. And when I say we haven't recovered from the pandemic, one of the major things that happened to us was that a lot of our housing stock had been sitting fallow and all of a sudden went on the market and got bought. Usually from, and I'm from away, I will always be from away. But, so I'm not, that's not a criticism. But in 2000, almost 80% of our houses were owner occupied. And in 2023, 3 years later, it was down to 43%. So what does that mean for you guys? Empty houses, Airbnbs, loss of rental houses or apartments that people used to have. The consequence of that is we have a huge housing shortage. Absolutely huge. Next one. So our housing challenges are significant. We have an increase right now. We have 37 homeless families or soon to be homeless families in the county. And they range anywhere from family size from 1 person to families of 8. These are usually 3 or 4 generation families. There is a lack of housing in general. Much of the housing stock that people actually live in is very, very, very shabby, very poor. And I would say much of it people shouldn't be living in. I looked at a trailer today that a family with 5 people are living in a local community, and that trailer was put down in that lot in 1976. That should have been retired a long time ago. You could feel the air coming in by the windows, you know, that kind of thing. The rents are very high because there is a shortage and people can get what they want. And often if you live in a trailer park, they're adding electricity and sewer as additional charges for the rent. So sometimes people in trailer parks, because they're paying for their rent, their water, their sewer, and their electricity, and these are all electrically heated units, they're paying $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 on average a month to live in a trailer. So that the costs are really heating up for people, particularly electric is very high for people. And we're finding more and more people who just can't pay their bills. The electric's high, the rent's high, the food's high, everything is high, and they don't make enough money. You can skip those one, that's fine. So we're working with Bangor City Homeless Shelter to hire a 100% dedicated time person to be working on homeless folks in our region to help not only locate them and serve them, because we know that there's a lot more. It's really easy for homeless people to find places to be where we don't see them. When the homeless team called the PATH team came up from Bangor to help us in last April, I said, come call me before and I'll take you around. And they didn't. They came up one day, they put 4 people in a car and they drove around for a whole day looking for homeless people. And I said, you are not going to see people. And then they yelled at me afterwards, said, you don't have any homeless people. I said, yeah, we do. Come up next week and I'll introduce you. They were thinking about the city where you really do, I don't know if anybody's been to Bangor lately, but our folks aren't pushing grocery carts. They're in the woods, they're in their cars, they're mostly in campers without water and without electricity. So we're really looking at how could we improve our housing, how, not only new housing, but how can we improve the housing that people have to live in now? And we've got a lot of houses that are empty. We have the highest percentage of unused property in the state. And it varies by town. Some of it's Guilford is about 52%. These are empty, foreclosed, abandoned houses. So just let me talk a little bit about our response network. So we have provided for a variety of unmet needs since 2008. We have a really dynamic group of people who talks every week together to figure out what resources are available or should be available for people. We ensure that they have case management. We provide training for the partners, particularly the ones who come up here from Bangor, because they don't know about living in rural Maine. They don't know our values, they don't know our culture, they do not know how things work. They don't know how to communicate with our residents. It's really quite a barrier for them to effectively serve people. So we do hold people accountable and we do identify gaps and try and work to fill them, okay? So we use a no wrong door policy, so everybody knows about what everybody else does. So if a resident would call me and ask about car repairs, I would know who to call to help them. All of our other partners know what our resources are, but usually what everybody does is they call us, they call Helping Hands, and we make sure, because nobody comes to us and just says, I need car repairs, and then that's the end of the story. It's like peeling an onion, you know, well, I need my medication because I don't have any health insurance. And the reason I don't have health insurance is because I can't pay for it. And I can't go to the doctor because I don't have transportation. And I need a doctor because I don't have enough food or medication. You know, it just goes on like that. And this is sort of what we have spent on our unmet needs fund for the last couple of years. So those are 844 non-duplicated households in the last 5 or 6 years. This is not a full profile of this year. We refer and serve through somebody else, probably 4,000 to 5,000 households a year by the time we count everybody in that calls us. We're getting more and more calls for elder services now, and more calls for cancer, people who need help with cancer, so food and transportation to Bangor, et cetera. And I do want to just highlight this to you before I close. There's a chart, there are actually 2 charts in your package that have these green lines on them. We've been trying to quantify how successful we've been in terms of bringing resources into the communities. So this would be called the return on investment, or an ROI. And you can see down at the bottom, so this is by town. And if you want a breakdown of this is Penquist. So Penquist is our CAP agency, our community action program. And they do a myriad of different services. I can give you the detail by service that they provided to Monson for each one of these years. But you can see on the bottom line that pre-COVID, so 2018, Penquist was investing about $4.6 million in this county. And in 2019, we started our referral system. And you can see that it jumped up to almost 12,000 in that first year, 2019. That was pre-COVID. And we have maintained those services and actually increased them by several $1 million. So just by creating a way for people to talk and communicate and share information and to help people locally feel comfortable talking with somebody who's local. When I need to, I get in my car and I go meet people. I often don't have to, but increasingly I'm seeing people in their own home. The last comment I would have that I would say is, I've been doing this for a long time, about 16 years. I'm getting old, but that's beside the point. I have never seen such a generous group of people, either the people who donate to us or who help us. We just had a young couple who went and helped a woman winterize her mobile home, her trailer. They did everything for her. And you could actually, before they went, you could see daylight through the walls in some of the rooms, and particularly underneath the kitchen sink. And they did it because they care about their neighbors. These are folks who are struggling. They experience shame and stigma every day. We've actually had to work with some of our local grocery stores because when people come in with WIC vouchers, I don't know if you've ever been behind anybody with a WIC voucher, but the clerk who's checking you out has to check each item against the list and make sure that it's on there so that it can be included. And it takes a while, depending upon how much stuff people have in their cart. And there were a lot of, and maybe pre-pandemic, but there were a lot of negative reactions to people. People would roll their eyes. It's kind of the EBT syndrome when people get out their EBT card. And you can always tell because the food goes first and they pay for their food, and then they have to pay for their non-food items separately in cash. People were really being shamed in the grocery store on a daily basis. And we found that many of our young moms and dads were going to Walmart in Palmyra just so that they wouldn't be judged by shopping locally. So we went and we did some training with a few of the grocery stores that had come to our attention and changed their behaviors. Really educated people. I see our neighbors as very proud. Nobody, and consequently, they always wait till it's the last minute. They'll call as somebody did yesterday, and they'll say, my electricity, I need help with my electric bill. And I'll say, well, how much do you owe? That would amaze you if you could know how much some people owe in thousands of dollars. I explained how that happened. Well, what's going on now with your electric bill? Well, they're gonna turn it off if I don't make a payment. Well, when are they gonna turn it off? 5 o'clock tonight. You know, I'm not a miracle worker, you know, so they're very proud. They never saw themselves as asking for help. And in fact, they don't see themselves often as needing help. They have very low expectations for what their life will give them many times. They're almost always low information people. Many have limited education. Some of our clients can't read or write. And for many of them, that they're stuck in survival mode. And so there is this thing called the chaos of poverty, where you're only able to look at what's right in front of you. And there may be this swirl of all of these other things happening around you, but poverty is right in your face. And the car repairs are the first thing that you think about. And then you think, oh yeah, the electric bill, oh yeah, the rent. But every single one of them, with very few exceptions, will say to me, I don't want to take too much because I know someone else needs it more than I do, almost to a person. So I just wanted to share that with you. We work very closely with our town managers. When I have challenging residents in the town, I meet with them. And recently met with Elena to talk about a couple of things that were going on here in Monson and Berwick, most particularly. But I think that the work that we do is important, and I just want more of the people in the communities to know and raise awareness that this stuff is going on. Anybody can refer. We have no income guidelines or anything like that. Anybody can. Okay.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Can I ask, I have like 3 questions. I was jotting down. So Helping Hands, where do you, where does Helping Hands with Heart get their funding from?
Well, we really don't have any.
Okay.
The money for our unmet needs are donations or grants that we write for designated money for that purpose. We have no paid staff. I'm a volunteer.
Okay, I was curious that. And then you talked about the tiny home communities,
Mhm.
and do you have any existing right now in any Piscataquis towns?
We don't. There are several that are down in southern Maine that we have visited,
Mhm.
we've looked at. These tiny houses, these are snap houses. They're highly efficient. They have an R value of about 180. So and I think I'm right about this. They snap together and they form up to 3-bedroom units, so studio up to 3-bedroom units. They have a lifespan of 50 to 60 years. The units can be disassembled when they have no longer serve a purpose where they are. They don't need plumbing or electricity or water, what else? Yeah. And they don't need foundations. Usually there's a way that they bring in black letters to truck stuff away. If we were to build a longer term tiny village, we would put a congregate building in the middle of it for laundry facilities and that kind of stuff. But they are incredibly energy efficient and functional and
So
not bad looking.
they're meant as temporary housing for people?
They actually were originally meant as temporary housing. They were used in California as temporary housing, but what we're finding is people are building these villages and people are living in them for longer terms.
Right. So my follow-up question to that was, I was just thinking of like zoning,
Mhm.
towns and, how that works for zoning compliance.
I would surprise you, maybe not, to say that a lot of our towns don't have codes about this kind of thing. And as you know, as an elected official, there are exemptions to everything. But these are decent looking units. I can share the plans with Elaine. I could have brought them up. They're decent looking units. They certainly look better than some of our trailer parks and some of our other housing does. And again, very utilitarian and efficient for people.
So I have one question, only because this came up to Dick this week from a resident of Monson who thinks he probably has blood sugar ranging in the 600s on occasion and has no insurance and asked Dick if he knew what he could do or had any idea, and Dick said he thought there were free clinics around. Is
There
that
are
true?
Katahdin Valley Health Center is a FQHC, a federally qualified health center. So they do provide free care. They will also hook people up with eligible resources there. We can also get that person a public health nurse who will go and set them up. And this is no cost to them.
Thank
Set them
you.
up with their
Thank
subject.
you.
Give me a call.
We will pass that
I
on.
was able to find online, the only thing I was able to find was that there was, Northern Lights, like, has supposedly somebody in Monson or whatever, Dr. Terry, but I have no idea who this person was or whatever, but I gave them that information. I said, at least their desk, you go in there, they would be able to probably tell you where to go. If they can't, then
They would, but KVHC is also.
where is that? Where is that?
That's the closest one is in Dover.
On the
But
Mile
public
Road.
health,
Yep.
On the Mile Road?
but the public health nurse comes to the house and serves people at their home.
So all this
Where
person
would you
has to
find
do
the
is
public
call
health
you.
nurse as far as getting hold of them?
They work for the state, so give me a call and I'll give you the phone number,
Perfect.
okay?
Thank you so
I can make a
much.
referral. And we refer people to public health nursing who have cancer or diabetes. We have several amputees who have a public health nurse. All of our homeless people get a public health assessment.
Fabulous. Thank you, sir.
Last question, I don't mean to take all of our time, but do any of the agencies, or I don't know what the right word is, but do you help people navigate like the DHHS and the main care system? Because
Yes, it's called being a pain in the butt.
it is, and I can tell you as a parent of a young person with a disability, it is incredibly frustrating. Like, we were on the phone for 2.5 hours, just waiting to get through to a Maine care person the other day. And I can't imagine people that don't have the resources to be able to navigate that system.
Very few people can navigate those systems, and part of it, I think, is because the systems were created so that you couldn't navigate them, right? There are a number of people. Does your person have a case manager?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should be helping you with all of that.
Oh,
work.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
but you
going
still
on.
have to make that phone call. And,
Yeah.
you know, when I see the data on how many people have lost Maine care,
Mhm.
I often wonder, because if they don't have the wherewithal, the resources
Right,
to understand how to navigate the system.
yeah.
So that's.
The other thing I
referral.
would share is DHHS comes to our county, they come to Penquist and Dover one day a month. So they were there today, for example, the third Thursday of the month from 8 to 4. No appointment is needed. You can go in there, bring your paperwork, and there are intake specialists who will sit and help people do anything. DHHS, family, independence related. If you want an advocate, we can get one to go with you. Sometimes I go just, now they're to the point, they don't want to see me anymore, so I just take my card and I drive people to the DHHS appointment, and I go into the little entryway at Penquist with people, and I'll say, this is Mary Smith, and she's here for an appointment, and I hand them my card, and I'll say, I'll be out in the car, and I'll be out in my car in the parking lot. Call me if you need me. And when they see that card, it's like, okay, good. You're not only gonna jump the line, but we're gonna help you. So that's been good. That's been good.
And
We
that's
do
at
advocate.
Penquist Cap, you said?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, right on the street. But we do advocate because it's a difficult system. I
Yeah,
mean, if you
Yeah.
completed, which you have, that application, it's 10 pages long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, now the town manager report.
My turn already? I forget that I go before you guys.
But it's plural reports. You have more than one.
Agenda.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I technically sent you guys my CEO report earlier, so I guess that can be included. with the
True,
report.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. What's not on here? So the code enforcement position, Kent gave his resignation on November 4th. We have posted it online. It will be in the paper next week, for that position. 2 people have reached out to me. I was supposed to meet with somebody on Tuesday, but they never ended up showing up, so.
That's not a good start.
No,
Yeah.
a really good start, but for the time being, I guess I am the code enforcement officer.
But there's one of those two that are still out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're the right person for.
Okay.
So working on that. The fire department building grant, I've reached out to Edie Smith and Carol Wilcock, but I haven't heard anything back from either one of them. I'm assuming that things are a little bit hectic for them as well. Oh, look, now we're watching TV.
It has opened up for Edie those today, and I think we should call her again.
And yeah, so that's another piece is I've technically only been in the office like 3 days since our last meeting, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to reach out to them other than by email. And so I'll definitely keep that on the radar. So the 22 acres on the Packard Road that we talked about at the last meeting, I'm not sure how we're gonna figure out what it is or where it is or anything. I talked to the assessor a little bit and we kind of dug through some old things because it's not on the tax maps right now. And so we went and reviewed tax maps from like 2018, I think, and it's just 2 chunks of land, kind of it not squared off or anything, just bubbled out that said flowage. one over here and one over here. And so what the assessor doesn't understand is why those two chunks of land aren't just taxed as wasteland to the abutters, and why the town would actually own flowage. So, but the only way to really figure out is to go and read some of the old deeds and to see if there's an actual deed somewhere. I did sort through the registry a little bit to see if I could find anything that just jumped out at me, and I couldn't find anything, so this might be a little bit more difficult to find the hard facts of what that piece of property really is.
I mean, it's one of those things that could probably just be put on a back burner
I was
because
just gonna
it's
say.
not property. If it's a flowage, it probably doesn't have a
Right, we
lot of
can't-
value.
Right, and like
So-
depending, but 22 acres,
Yeah, right.
it's just
Yeah.
strange to me, and like for it to not have any like, no tax map, not like, it's
It's a
very strange.
Mystery there.
Yeah.
In your spare time.
Yeah, who knows, someday I'm gonna be going through a box of something and there's gonna be a folder in there that has all the information we're looking for in it. That day just hasn't come yet. So UGE, we, as in me and the attorney, have heard nothing from UGE or their attorney either.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're collecting signatures, I don't know, they haven't enlightened any of us as to
And
what
there's no
they're-
timeline for us to do anything.
No,
Okay.
no. And then 997 solar, this is actually one of the things that was on my to-do list for today was to meet with or talk to Vaughn. Because I really need more information than what he'd given me in the last email, because he just gave me the overview of what has been used since June or generated since June, and I kind of need it to be broken down a little bit more, like by month, so I can kind of compare it to the bills to see really how we're gonna use that as an estimate.
Right.
So that will be, I will have a better update on that, next month. The old fire truck, and we were waiting to hear back from another department that had expressed interest, and they actually got in touch with Chuck today and said that they're gonna pass. So that's still a work in progress.
Has have they advertised it anywhere?
He said that he posted it on Marketplace, but then when I texted him tonight, he said that he had taken it down while the department said that they wanted it or whatever, but he said that it would be back up by tomorrow. And then, ooh, this is exciting, yay. We received our FEMA money last week from the road repairs. So how exciting is that?
Wow.
There was $46,210 for the Elliotsville Road and Barrels Falls Road. So the majority of the fixing on the Elliotsville is the edge where the pavement washed out on the edge. So that will be fixed, and then tons of gravel for the Barrels Falls Road. From the Barrels Falls Road bridge back towards Monson. And then $6,700 to the fire department for labor and materials used during
Excellent.
the actual storm. So that will go in their reserve account, because it's essentially to replace the equipment that they purchased during that.
Okay.
So that's exciting. And then I think the rest of my stuff is on the agenda already. So,
You good?
Yep.
Okay. You don't want to rush you on that?
No, that's okay.
Okay, and the budget report, I didn't see anything outstanding, were there any concerns?
I went through it, on Tuesday, and I didn't see anything that was, I did notice actually on the, Public Works, on the very top, it has like a bunch of zeros in the budget thing and expenditures, but for some, it's just the admin line, but it's supposed to be the expense line. So there will be like an admin salt, but it's actually supposed to be expense salt. So it's just supposed to be paid a line down below. So
Okay.
it's there,
Right.
it's there, sometimes things get a little wonky in
Yeah.
Tria.
Yeah,
But that was the only thing that I noticed, and that's clerk. Very minor, so.
okay. Select board reports, I just have two quick questions, then I'll let you guys
Go for
go. Just, I was looking at our town website, under the select board page, and the approved minutes for a couple of previous meetings aren't accessible, like when you click, you can't open any, so.
I was looking on that today and so some of them are like, they're grayed out, you can't click on them, so I was wondering if those are the ones that, if they haven't been posted yet, and some of them go way back, so I was gonna ask Jade why.
Yeah, so that's what it is, cause I had asked her about that, and so. So they just need to be posted, I'm assuming, is what the.
Yeah, and along with that, on the same page, the rules of order are the outdated ones that are previous select board members
Oh, okay.
signed. If we could just replace that with the new version, that would be great.
Okay.
That is all I had.
There has been an inquiry about, a woman made a substantial donation to the fire department to purchase some lift assist equipment.
Like, when did that happen?
Was that long ago?
Like this year,
Yes.
like, okay. And where,
Because the fire department, towards her husband's end of life, the fire department was there very frequently, helping him out, and she decided to make a substantial donation.
Is this a Blanchard person?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about, and I do feel like I saw some money come in. I'm not sure how substantial it was, but I don't remember, but I don't remember it being huge, because I feel like I would remember.
I think it was like 3,000.
I'd have to look, but I don't know, but I do remember.
And should that have been something that we voted to accept?
probably,
That's a good question. How does that work for the?
I mean, the last time when Glenn and Molly, with all the stuff they donated for the beach and other things we had to accept. And I remember talking about that at the time, that donations to the department should be
Yeah.
accepted and then handed to them.
Yeah.
Just ran one, you know what
yeah,
I'm talking about?
no. But I can. Look that up.
Do you have to accept food drive donations?
I think that's different, but I don't know that for sure.
It's a donation.
But I think that's more of a fundraising
Yeah.
effort than a
Right.
donation, okay,
That
per
would
se,
probably be the-
okay.
I think
But-
it was a separate organization, we
but-
would have to, if they had an auxiliary that did it,
Oh, yeah.
then we would have to accept the donation and then move to the fire department.
Mm.
But what is the actual question, I guess? Do you have more to your sentence before I go and look this up? I'm gonna
Well,
look it up.
the question was, well, one, has the fire department ever reached out in some manner to thank the lady for the donation? And also to, what have they done or what are they planning on doing with the money?
Because it was given first.
Given for a specific reason. I don't think she said you've got to buy this, this, and this, but it was more for the whole lift assist operations of the fire department.
See, I don't remember anything like that, and I
No.
feel like it may have come in the mail,
Yeah, with a letter.
or something, but usually I just ring that stuff in. So it could be that they're not even aware unless it shows up on their revenue report, cause they
Right.
get their
and it-
reports and if it's on there.
How long ago was that?
So I have one that could
Beginning of
possibly,
summer?
Yeah, over the summer,
Over the summer?
yeah.
Okay.
will you go get the cash receiving from 8:15?
Jean was looking for that one today. She couldn't find it.
That particular one,
That
Really?
particular one, yep.
August 15th.
Yep.
All right, well, let's see if I can. Yeah, like Marty said, I'm not, depending on what it was, they might not have even known that it was for a specific thing if it didn't say something on it. She could have just, it came in the mail. She saw that it was fire donation, she just rang it in, and then at the end of the month, they got their revenue account balance that said that there was money, more money in it. But
Yes, I was approached about it too, and I ran it past Chuck, and he seems to be aware
okay,
of it and that it had an expectation.
okay.
It's not good.
Maybe I misread that, but that was my understanding.
I'm just trying to look to see when. Okay, that's what it was. So it's 2,000. In August. So maybe we should just accept it now, since we didn't, or, but it's in their donation account right now.
Does that mean that it went for the trailer? And the side by side?
Well, it doesn't mean that because there's more money left in there, so.
Okay. But if it's, if someone donated with an expectation, are we beholden to that expectation?
I would
Do you
assume
know?
so, yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question, like, when we look at the budget report, it doesn't include under the fire department, like their donation account?
No, because it's a separate, account, like a department, I should say, so it's actually at the end.
Of the budget report?
Yeah. So it says fire donations.
Gotcha, all right, I see it there.
And that doesn't show everything, cause that will only show what has been generated this year. Because anything that has been generated
Right.
prior years sits in a G account, which doesn't get printed with budget reports.
I don't remember because I never opened mail, but it was mail.
Right. But
I don't know.
if Chuck is aware that there was some stipulations to that money, then I would only assume that he would follow those, but I
I
will
would
check.
circle back, cause I asked him, we were kind of busy at the time too, and he said it was, I think he said it was on his radar or something like that.
Okay, well, I'll just touch base with him and make sure that we are doing something about that.
Yeah. So do you want us to wait on accepting or do that now? or how-
I think that we can just accept it now with the stipulations for what it is used for.
Didn't make a motion to accept the, said it was $2,000?
Yep.
Dollar donation to the fire department for lift assist equipment.
All in favor? Thanks for bringing it up. Do you have anything else?
I guess kind of on the same note, what is the ATV situation?
I guess that was actually on my radar to talk about, because it's just kind of in limbo right now. Because they feel one way, you guys feel another way, or not feel another way, I'm not even sure, but
What is it? What are we looking at?
I don't have any of the information on the actual ATV other than the price, and that it would come with tracks and
What was the
wheels,
price?
14,000.
So it's just a regular four-wheeler.
I'm assuming so. I asked if it was bigger than the four-wheeler that we have now, and he said yes. And because my first question was, why can't we put tracks on the four-wheeler that we already have? And he said that it wasn't big enough to put tracks on,
And you usually put tracks on just about any four-wheeler.
and that it wouldn't haul the rescue sled with tracks on it. Like, it wasn't big enough to do that. Was the response I got.
And then there's a trailer that goes with it.
Right, so the trailer, would be, well, it's enclosed, and it's large enough to put the rescue sled, and the ATV and the tracks and the wheels and everything, so downstairs, with, Aaron's been down a couple of times, but downstairs where the other, truck is, you can't walk around that truck at all, because there's rescue sleds, there's skis, there's all of that equipment would be contained in the trailer outside. And the reason why I thought that the trailer would be good, regardless if we bought the new ATV or not, because if we just kept the ATV that we have right now, that could also be in it and get out of the already super crowded.
How much
Department.
is the trailer?
That was 11,000.
Okay, so we're talking 20,
12,
Okay.
12,700.
12, okay, so 26. And so can all that, like if they were to go ahead with that, can all that be maintained outdoors in the winter? Does it affect the machine at all, or?
They seem to think that it would be fine out there.
It's outside, it's fine, well, and unheated,
Yeah.
Right.
shelter lodging.
The biggest thing is when they don't get used in the cold weather. Usually your batteries will end up dying.
Yeah, but I mean, they do checks once a month and start all of the equipment and make sure everything is in running proper order every month. So at least once a month it would be started.
Okay, I do have a question about using that trailer for storage. That would make the trailer useless for hauling. If you cram everything in there.
Well, those are all the things that you're putting in there are the things that you would use when you take the trailer. Like the rescue sled and the skis and all of that stuff, like that goes. with the-
So the other, whatever it is downstairs wouldn't be going in there.
The what?
All the other
Other
stuff they
things
got
would-
stacked.
No, just the equipment.
I mean, it's their donation money. They can spend it how they want, whether I agree or disagree to it. My biggest thing is we've had that four-wheeler for 2 years. I don't believe it's ever been out. And yes, and I do feel that they should have access to something in the wintertime, a snowmobile. But why not buy a used Scandic for $5,000-6,000?
I do not have the answers to those questions.
Like I said, they can, it's their donation money, they can spend it how they want. We have nothing to say about it.
I just want you guys to understand the difficult situation that this puts me in as a town manager, just so that you understand that I'm not being aggressive and I'm not on taking sides or anything. I'm just simply trying to provide information from one side to the other, and that is the only place that I am standing. And so that's all I was trying to do in this process.
And that's all I wanted, was just the information. It was something other than, hey, we're getting a trailer and a side-by-side or a four-wheel with tracks on it. Well, what are we getting? How much are we paying for it? What's it gonna be used for? The details. I'm a stickler for details.
So.
Okay, I guess one other question to that.
Okay.
When we get this trailer,
Mhm.
are we going to be spending money to decal it all out?
Yes, and that money will also come from their donation.
Donation, okay.
I mean, I think I was clear. I get it. It's their money to do what they want. I wish that we operated in a system where they looked at what we actually need to function and they filled in some of the gaps. I think that there's a culture of get everything that you can get, whether you need it or not. And I wish that wasn't it. I wish that it was, okay, we know we need a pump truck or a tank truck. We know we need certain things to function on a day-to-day basis that the town can't afford any of. But I get that it's their
I
donation
think
money.
that that's
And
where the disconnect is that they feel that this is something that they need
I
to
know they
function.
feel that way.
So like, that's why they're defending it the way that they are, I think,
Okay.
is because they
I don't
feel.
understand what they're defending.
Well-
Like I haven't had a conversation with them. I don't need to have a it's their money. They get to do with it what they want. I just wish it was a different culture. I wish there was a different expectations for that money, because people don't come through town and donate to the boot drive thinking that they're gonna go buy this piece of equipment that, yes, it may get used, but they function fine without it. I believe, like, I don't know of any calls that we don't want to be in the business of responding. The wardens traditionally, historically, have responded to ATV accidents.
But the problem is we don't have wardens just waiting around for these calls, and we are a rescue service, so if we don't have these, we're walking to the call
I
because
understand that.
we have to respond either way.
But we don't get a lot. It is what it is. I am just saying, I wish that it was a culture where, and I mean, they say if you wish in one hand, but I wish we had a culture where they looked to fill the things that the town can't afford. I don't think people
I
give,
think they think that they are.
I believe that they think that they are.
Is the thing, is
I
because
don't, I understand that.
they view what they need to operate differently than the way that you are viewing it. It doesn't make how they view things wrong, and it doesn't make how you view things wrong. It just, you guys are view things very differently.
I think, data always helps, I'm sure they have data. I want to trust that they have data to support what they need. And I don't want to micromanage, I want to trust that they
Right.
have that, and
I have only heard from outside sources and other fire departments and like the warden services. I've actually got to talk to quite a few wardens in the last couple of months, well, even the last month alone. And sometimes those wardens are responding from Waterville to Monson.
Mhm.
And that's the reality of what's happening right now. And so when I hear those stories like that, it makes more sense to me. Some of these expenses that, you know, even 15 years ago wouldn't have made sense for the fire department. And I think it's changing. I'm not saying that, you know, like, could we make do without a four-wheeler with tracks on it? We have been for a long time. But then at the same time, I also think about, like, if something did happen, and even if the only thing we could do is sit with that person, if it meant that person was sitting on the snowmobile trail for 2 hours by themselves.
I don't disagree with any of that. I don't. My point is that I think that, first of all, I think the situation could have been approached in a much different way that made it feel less like they're doing this, you just need to approve it. It could have been a conversation beforehand instead of being informed after the fact. And I know that stuff happens, mistakes happen, I get that. But I also think every time we take up one of the responsibilities that belongs to someone else and we're not compensated for it, it just adds to the expenses of the town. In this town, we just heard about the amount of resources that aren't available to people. The town can't afford to keep increasing taxes. The county is increasing taxes every year. The town, we can't keep offloading those costs onto our taxpayers. I think it's great that they're buying this through their fundraiser money. I think that's fantastic. But I also think there are a lot of other things that we have a larger need for, that some of that money could also go to. That's all. Like, but we can move on because we're not gonna solve it.
Well, I was just gonna add, you know, getting back to what we've been talking about, it's a work in progress, getting their inventory and their long-term needs kind of developed, so that would help, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could see that, yeah, this was a need because of this data that they have on calls and previous, and, but having that long-term vision, I think would prevent us from being in second guessing mode.
And I don't want to communicate it to Chuck that I'm questioning or trying to micromanage, because I'm not. I'm commenting on the whole, more the whole system than like, I think they're doing a fantastic job. They're doing a lot with very little, and I understand that. And I appreciate that he's able to stretch some of those budget dollars. I'm just saying that in the long term, if we had that plan, we could anticipate some of those expenses, and we could look at where the town can do it, where we need a little help from them. I just think it's that whole, the whole larger view approach to it, rather than seeing this spot and trying to solve those problems as they come up.
With that said, I know it's a work in progress, and you're probably bugging Chuck to do get that plan.
To be positive, obviously, you know, I prefer to see the snowmobile, since we already have a four-wheel, but if money was available and it was a good time to do it, I would prefer to see a side-by-side with tracks versus a four-wheeler with tracks. Cause you're just about tripling what a side-by-side is capable of versus a four.
I don't know.
For 14,000, it's not a side-by-side.
No?
No, because tracks are gonna be 3,000 to 5,000 a piece
Oh.
for set. So we don't know.
I don't know if it's a side by side or not. I don't. All I know is it's bigger than the four-wheeler that we have already. That's all I know.
I thought that it was, but you're right, price wise, it doesn't really add up.
But yeah,
And the only reason why I knew that he went for the side by side with tracks instead of the snowmobile was because the snowmobile was 18,000 and the four-wheeler was 14.
But then again, something that you might use once a year, why not buy something used? But anyways, it's their money, they can spend it how they want.
Right.
I'm sorry, to put you in this position. So,
Oh, I'm having a blast, the best time.
so I think just let's revisit and support the fire department in developing their inventory and long-term needs list. And it's not something I know that's gonna be done overnight, but I'm
No.
sure they have something started.
Well, just the bare minimum basically is just, they have all of their pagers, their SCBA
Right.
stuff, and so it's I don't know how in-depth you want to get with this,
Like when things need to be replaced, how
Right, like,
often, and then.
and like how, what are we talking monetary wise, like at $500, $100, $1,000? Because I don't know if we want to inventory like everything,
Well,
or,
I think the big needs, like if they, major equipment that needs to be replaced, how often, and so that we can see in the future, and plan for that.
yeah, because I mean, the inventory list that I had given you guys before when we met with Chuck, like that had pretty much the major, the vehicles, the SCBA packs, the pagers, radios, that it had that kind of stuff on it. The gear is actually on there too, I think.
Yeah, I think. that is.
Turnout gear, but
For some reason, I thought it wasn't all complete though, I don't know.
but it really needs to be in like, this year, this is how much needs to be replaced, like, so that we can see.
Well, some stuff isn't being sprung on, like at the last second, oh, we need 6 sets of turnout gear. Like we should know that ahead of time, like they should be able to project, and I know that was on
Yeah.
there. And the SCBA stuff but I would go, I mean, they obviously already work a lot of hours, but I think as complete as they can make it, it's hard to make a capital plan. She didn't catch that, without having all like everything.
Right, and it's not just the stuff they have that needs to be replaced, but like almost a wish list, like,
Then,
just.
like, in 10 years, they're gonna want one of those trucks replaced.
Anyway, that would help. Not to beat this dead horse anymore. You okay with that?
Yes.
Jonathan, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. You good?
I'm done.
All right. Town committee reports. Go in alphabetical order, beautification.
We are looking at new winter banners to put on the basic light poles. Working on a design now that will feature a snow roller, appropriately enough for that. I knew Glenn would like that. We have greenery in the boxes on the bridge and bridges and the town office. And I mentioned the Christmas tree to Jade today, and she was going to put it on maybe Marty's list, I don't know.
Well, Steve mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago that he had one in his sights
Oh, great.
and
Okay.
Was thinking on throwing it up, and I said, perfect.
Great.
But then I haven't heard anything more. I thought he was gonna like do that tomorrow, but
Well, that would be great.
so it's on the radar, and I believe that one's been picked out.
Okay, and the lights need to get up on the poles, and Wayne said we probably need to order another string or two, so
Okay,
I will see about, that.
Okay, yeah, do that.
we can always leave off a pole at the end of the road or something.
Yeah,
And I think that's it for beautification. Will be a Chris Pringle, come support us.
We have a seed fundraiser.
Oh, yes, the seed fundraiser, which will be taking orders for Chris Pringle. How could I forget that? It was my idea. So gift ideas for the gardeners and your families.
That's good, thank you. Did you want to do collaborative also, or?
There's nothing really new in
Nothing new.
collaborative.
Okay. Do they do the New Year's Day thing?
New Year's Day will be happening, yes.
Okay,
Sorry, maybe I didn't mention that last time. That will be happening. The restaurants are being contacted. You should be getting a request to sell liquor up there from Nick. I guess next meeting, will that be in?
December, is that enough time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
So-
think I.
They email, because they put this new system now, that they email the request, and it was decided before, back
Oh,
when
when
Bill was
Bill was here,
here,
yeah.
that we could approve things like that without doing it at a meeting, unless it was like something new.
Okay, right, I remember that.
So
now.
I've been, when renewals come down the pike, I just
It's a renewal,
accept them
yeah.
and send it back, and it's,
So that's not something new, same old.
yeah, right.
Okay,
So that's what I'll do if that's fine.
That just brought something in my mind. We heard anything from Robinsons? As far as, cause I know they missed they weren't in the
The
pool
liquor
last
sale.
year for the liquor license, but they were gonna be in the pool.
This year, and no, I haven't heard anything, I knew
Darren really wants to.
they only do it once a year, and I thought it was in the
It's in
spring that they,
fall.
oh, it is in the fall, I thought it was in the spring.
I'll ask Val next time I see her, but I just wasn't sure, is that something that we have to reapprove?
No,
Mm.
no, cause you
I'll push that
just,
to the state.
you just have to do it that one time.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure in case I get it this fall that,
No,
We
no,
were-
once and the only reason why we had to do it before is because we've never done it,
yeah.
so.
And I think collaborative should have waited until cemetery did their thing. 'cause
Well, I know, I went out of order of alphabetical. Did you have a,
Yeah, forgive it.
no, I didn't forget him.
I'll go last.
Go ahead, Glenn.
All right, cemetery committee report, so, we're required by the policy to provide a report on the condition of the cemeteries, and I wrote that up, the group did, and sent that out, I don't know if you've had a chance. to
That was an
review it.
incredible report, thank you.
Okay, and so I'll just briefly go over it, but, you know, the churchyard cemetery is in excellent condition. You know, a lot of work, an incredible amount of work has been done over the last 3 or 4 years. So that's in great shape, and looks fantastic.
Just those trees were kind of,
The trees are the issue.
yeah,
So we're investigating how we might address that issue. I'll skip over the Hillside Cemetery for a minute, go right to the Lake Road Cemetery. That being a relatively new cemetery is also in pretty good condition. A couple of years ago, we bought markers to replace the plywood markers that were down in the ground, and so far we've replaced 250 of them. And so it's in the section, most all of the section where there are just 5 3 rows. That's all been marked. And so that's over, you know, looking at it from the road, that's over to the right.
Okay.
And then further over to the right, there are another 3 rows, and we haven't found the first marker in that spot yet, so I'm hoping Jay won't sell any lots over there yet. So that one's in pretty good condition. We split up and did surveys in the Hillside Cemetery of the condition of the stones and made a long list of some of the issues. And one of the issues that came to light was that one of the stones way up on the top of the hill was moved off the base. And this is the stone here, and I took Elaine up and showed it to her. So it's pretty clear that it was hit by one of the mowers. There's a scuff mark right on the side of the stone. And so it moved the stone right off the base, not completely, but there were a couple that were off the base, and it hadn't occurred to me until I looked at that stone, what's going on.
Mm,
And so we went up there and looked, and I had been there before, and there are literally dozens of stones that had been hit and either moved to the very edge or even moved to the side. And they're moved because nowadays they don't pin the top to the bottom, it's set there. Some of the stones in the lower section that were pinned have just broken off. And I think this is all related to the mowing operation. And as I told Elena, if I was mowing and I did that to that stone, I'd be right into the town office now and say, oh my God, but nothing, crickets, you know, and I think something has got to change there. You know, years ago, the sexton used to do the mowing and they paid close attention to it and were very careful. That has gone away and.
I know when I had in a former life, I worked mowing cemeteries and we mowed them by hand.
Absolutely.
With a push mower.
And you know, especially in that upper section where, you know, it's already, and
Yeah.
like I showed Dick his parents' stone and there's a bush beside it, so to miss the bush, you swing around in it. The top is still on the base, but it's moved way over to the side and over to the front. And I mean,
It's off the edge, it's
yeah,
off the edge.
there were two stones that were, I mean, these were huge stones, that big, like that were pushed right off the edge and laying on the ground. And we paid $750 to get those two stones set back up. So.
The Levitt stone, because we've been doing this work in the cemetery all summer, that was not done to the very end of the summer because Vicky had complained to me about the fact they were doing the big turn right in front of it and chewing up the grass. And she'd replaced that twice. That stone was not moved at that time. So this was the last mowing of the season, if that happened.
That takes a lot of,
It's kids.
You know,
The kids
I
don't
tried to
care.
move that just
Yeah.
myself. You know, I couldn't move that. Probably I could with a lever or something, but in you know, one of the stones that was off the base, I mean, you couldn't even move it. Here's a couple more pictures.
Mowers are real big too. I mean, they mow this outside the front door here with a zero turn mower. I always laugh every time.
Really?
I mean, you can do that with a weed whacker, but.
Are there
It is
indications-
very easy with a zero turn to
Yeah.
hit stuff.
Oh
I'm
my
sure.
gosh.
I'm
Are
sure.
there indications like on this stone, now that you know this, that it was hit? Like, is there any
You can't see
mark
where
or
it's,
anything?
you know, you can't see it, but they, at least mine has a wheel on the back, so,
Right,
you know, if you hit it, the wheels, you know, you just push it
right.
and
No,
So,
I mean, this is one that was right on the ground, and I mean, that sucker is huge, you know. And so we paid Penobscot Monument to put that back. There were two like that.
So in retrospect, it also looks like the footstones in the old cemetery that were broken and just thrown behind the church were probably mowers too.
I don't,
So there's been a conversation with David Ray yet or no?
I guess this conversation has been had multiple times over the last years of him having this contract, not with myself, but with other town managers. And I told Glenn, maybe it's worth separating out the cemetery mowing and the rest of the mowing, and just keep David Ray for all the other town properties except for cemeteries, and reaching out to the sexton to see if he would be interested in moving the mowing to part of his job description, and then just that budget line that is for mowing the cemeteries go to the sexton, and we could even keep it separate, as budget purposes.
I know he would
He's
be
very
interested.
interested.
he would be good.
So,
The other issue is the pegs that, and Glenn says we, but Glenn pegged the whole of the lake cemetery. And those are up out of the ground. Now, Chris would be aware of that,
right,
and
And-
the other kids wouldn't.
right, and he would know, he would just pay more attention to
Right.
detail and, you know.
does he do that for
Yeah,
other places?
yeah, he
Okay.
does.
I think he does the Shirley
Yeah,
one.
he does.
Yeah.
And the pegs that, the markers, they're, you know, I pounded them down into the ground, you know, say that far, but if with the frost, if they come up, you know, it would be too bad if they just got mowed over like they would, you know.
Right.
They probably would damage the mower.
Yeah, those are heavy duty.
I guess a couple other, number one, I'm assuming, I mean, obviously they carry insurance,
Yes.
so. I don't see a problem sending them a bill for any damage that occurred due to their mowing. I mean, it's no different if I'm plumbing somebody's house and I drop a piece of pipe through their front door. I gotta replace the door.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I agree with that, and, you know, on that stone right there, the level one, you can see the scuff mark on the side of it where it was hit, and the marker, the veterans marker beside it is pushed over.
That one is no question. The
Yeah.
others that would be hard to prove at this print.
And yeah, I mean, you probably couldn't say, well, every single
Right.
stone that's damaged in there is due to you guys, but the obvious ones.
But you could see the tire marks right in the grass.
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
against-
yeah, there was no question on
And
that.
like, some point, I guess, could we look at the contract that they signed? Is there a contract? There's no
Oh,
contract.
there isn't.
No, because it was, when I got here, that's just who mowed the cemeteries was David Ray. And that's just how it's been for years and years and years. So that's just how it's been. But because now somebody has brought it up, now
We're gonna have a contract,
we're gonna figure this out.
okay?
So, no, you cannot, but
I make a motion to make a contract for the mowing.
Have we dug deep?
I mean, if they did sign it, it would be
How
for,
many years have they been doing it?
Oh, many, I mean, I've been here for 8 years and it's
Yeah.
always been them, and, I mean, it was for a long time before that, I think.
So I think going with our sexton to take care of the cemetery mowing, like you suggested, and then having a contract with,
yes,
for the town
yeah,
mowing.
Yeah.
Is,
And maybe
Wise.
write into the contract, if you hit a stone, let us know.
right,
Like,
right.
Cause accidents happen, like I get
Yeah,
it.
for
Like,
sure.
You can make a mistake, but.
But like,
own it when
say,
you do
hey.
it.
When you look at the hillside cemetery in any degree, you know that those big mowers cannot.
It's a hard,
Just
it's a hard
cannot
cemetery to
do
mow.
it,
There's-
no.
It's off in
And
multiple
there's
directions.
graves that
Yeah.
are sunk and
I
it's.
think we should move that cemetery to flat ground.
What a good idea.
Those people at the top of the hill paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
For the view.
to be up there.
I appreciate it, I think this will go a long way, I mean, it was 3 years ago when we repaired, I think it was 35 stones that were broken in two. And, you know, now after this, I'm thinking, it didn't just fall apart.
No.
You know?
Right.
This was done, we got the prisoners from Charleston to come up and spend, I don't know, a couple weeks repairing all those stones for epoxy them back together.
It's just a shame, all the work that the committee has done to get our cemeteries back in a reasonable,
Condition.
respectable
Yeah.
condition, yeah, and, yeah. Thank you for your
Yep.
work, your hard work,
I mean,
you guys.
some of these people have been notified, correct, that have the damaged stones,
Mm,
some of the
Well,
family
I
members.
did notify Vicky and her family about that one,
mm.
and I
You notified
notified
me.
Vic.
The strange thing is, I had, that must have happened recently, because the last time I was
That's
up and
happened
looked at
off and
where my
on.
parents' grave was, I hadn't noticed anything, and I was all around it. And there was there's lilies growing there, that's one of the, you know, that's there all the time, and I go up and I clean that out, and I hadn't noticed. So that's gotta be relevant.
Are there stones that are in a precarious position now that need to be addressed
Yeah.
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
winter?
they're right
And
on
is
the
it
edge.
something, this guy's pretty strong.
Well, what I was gonna do is talk to Ethan and see if you wrapped a strap around the bottom of the stone and took a 2-4 and just wedged it back, is that okay to do? Cause there's stuff they put under the stone
Right.
to hold it there. And you're gonna be sliding on, I don't know if that's.
Yeah.
If that's the best way to do it, or do you have to lift it up and re-stick it down? I don't know.
If it's something that can be done locally versus going through.
Get the yards there. Go back to the-
Yep.
Yeah.
Trouble
mean,
is,
if you find out
wedge
that we
one of those
can-
Stones back and it falls on you, you're gonna know. it.
Right.
If you find out that with some muscle or whatever, we
You're
could
offering
do it.
muscle?
I could
You
volunteer
volunteer.
for a day or two and we
I'll
can
check that out with you.
try to get.
I think
I
it's
know
a
he-
safety issue.
I lift heavy stones all day, every day, and
That's right.
they hurt, so, I mean, there's some strategies I can think of, but I don't know that, I don't wanna break one trying to move it, so,
I don't think you'd break it.
no, it might break you.
We also have serious erosion issues on the top part of the
Yeah.
hillside, and we've looked at that, and I'm gonna see if I can get Jim French in the spring, because his family, 2 of the Stones and Frenches, to walk with us, and he may have some ideas on how we can address that, and knowing Jim,
He'll have the answer.
he'll also give us time to fix it, I think, so.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. All right, nothing from rec committee, I take it.
No,
All right. Oh, we have a hand.
It's on my committee of one.
Oh.
As the school board representative, I wanted to mention next month's district board meeting is here in Monson,
Okay.
6:30 on December 2nd. And it's something I've advocated for a while. They said, we used to do it, no one ever came, so. And my argument was, well, I drive to Dover 12 times a year, you guys can drive to Monson once.
December 2nd, Jim?
December 2nd, and I don't think we need to flood this room, but it would be nice to have a reasonable showing, so, to let them know that Monson supports its school kids. So I'd really like you, if you have time, or if you can put the word out, that'd be great to get some folks here.
Can you remind me when
What
we
time?
get closer?
6:30, December
6:30?
2nd. I'm gonna put it, I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm gonna put the letters up on the town sign here, probably either tomorrow or Saturday morning.
That sounds good. I just put it in my Google Calendar.
And if anyone wants to advocate for late busing, that's another fight I've been working. Because Monson kids lose out in a huge way.
Yeah.
We don't have access. If you're in a single parent household, a single car household, have 2 parents that work, the kids just don't have as much access to after school activities, so.
Here we go.
My understanding was years ago, when they moved to Dover, that was negotiated as part of it, and that went away some time ago, so.
Yeah.
It went away before you, when you were in high school, because,
It was there when I was in high school, we still had
It's
it.
interesting that,
I don't know, I remember hauling busloads of kids back and forth.
Well,
Your
sure.
mother did too.
They only had 1 bus, but I remember when I brought it up, even Joel Pratt said he wouldn't have done sports if there hadn't been a late
That's
bus.
probably true.
Oh, go ahead. Tim.
I was just, there was the most recent discussion regarding Guilford and surrounding areas to Dover Foxcroft. That was one of the stipulations, that Dover Foxcroft, the academy would provide the transportation for the students if they did that.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering what happened to ours, did that vaporize somewhere along the way, or
It
was that?
seems as though it did.
Isn't that 2 different things, though? I don't wanna.
I don't know, maybe.
Well, when you.
Well, the academy is different than the
Yeah,
district. for sure.
yeah, the academy is separate
Yeah.
from the Seto bus.
Yes, you're right,
Right.
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
I will never forget in 2008, I was up here, I think it was 8, yeah, it was. And I was visiting somebody on Water Street. And it was a spring day and we were on the porch and she said, pretty soon, we won't have a school anymore.
Yeah.
And I come out every day in the morning and at lunchtime. And I sit here and I listen to the children laugh and play outside. And I won't be able to hear that anymore. And it was like a dagger, you know?
I was gonna say, I think that's about the time that we lost the after-school bus, when our school went away here.
They were quite happy to haul Kevin Nelson back and forth.
Exactly.
Been a lot of other athletes besides Kevin Nelson.
All right, where are we? CEO report.
Oh, yeah.
Singular report.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I didn't even print myself up, but it
Thank you both.
basically said, so my first day as CEO, I got to do a site visit with Brian. And we went out to 418 Pleasant Street, and they're doing some clearing of land that is in the shoreline zone that they did not think they were in the shoreline zone because they thought that the shoreline zone ended at 100 feet from the water, and it does not. And so at the beginning, we got off on the wrong foot. They slammed the door in my face, gave me their attorney's number. It turned into this whole big thing. At the end of the day, I was able to work with the contractor and the landowners to come and fill out an earth moving permit, and the contractor is working on filling that out. They do have some plans for an RV of some sort, but I'm not 100% sure if they can do what they want to do, but they won't tell me what they want to do because they're not doing that right now. So-
I might have some information for you shortly,
So,
because I've been called.
so,
Small town.
so, yeah. So that was, my first day as CEO.
Where is that?
It's almost at the very end of Pleasant Street.
Oh, by Kent's.
Yeah,
And then where Shirley Lemon used to. live.
Yeah.
I think-
Way down there?
yes.
Oh, gotcha.
A very small lot. It's a 1 acre lot.
Is it right next to them?
It's
Just
just
before Kent.
before.
Yeah, yeah,
Shirley
yes,
Lennon's.
right,
Like it sits almost on the road.
right,
Yes, that.
okay.
So, if they don't follow through with the earth moving permit, then I guess we'll go through
Right.
the violation
Next step,
process
right.
and all of that stuff, but I'm really, fingers crossed,
Hopeful.
hoping that somebody can just do what they say that they're going to do.
Well, the
Um,
contractor knows that they're responsible too.
Right, and he was very nice, he didn't realize, I guess, that he was doing something that he shouldn't have been doing. And there was quite a few complaints from the neighbors, because it turns out that there's an easement, there was all kinds of things. So I was actually pulled over there for a couple of different reasons, and then when I got there, there was all kinds of construction going on, so I was like, well, let's have a walk around. See what's going on.
Who's the earthwork contractor?
I cannot remember his name, but he's from Fairfield.
Fairfield. So, three young guys.
Yeah, 3 young guys.
You wanna make sure that when he's filling that out, he needs a DEP number.
Oh, yes.
Work within, he doesn't have to have his own number, but he can work under someone else's
Which we did talk
with
about.
their permission. But he's not DEP certified.
Yeah, so that was a whole,
He was quite cooperative.
he was compared to the landowners. The landowners did not enjoy our presence at all. So yeah, that was what happened this month as CEO.
Thank you for doing that.
Sure thing.
Do you know ongoing stuff? I've noticed up the North Guilford Road from my parents where Burton's used to live, there's a building
Yes,
going up.
yes.
Have they applied?
Yes,
for-
they
Okay,
have.
cool.
They
I
have.
just wanted,
And that, the reason why that particular one was not on was because I actually granted that building permit before I was CEO.
I mean, it's the building where the
Yeah,
building
yeah.
was. so-
and that's basically, they're not really changing the footprint or anything.
So speaking of that, like things that have occurred and not resolved before you
Yeah,
took this on, I feel so bad, just, you're taking this on, until we can get it filled, but how, I don't wanna lose sight of those ongoing issues.
So what I had planned on doing is, finding copies of the letters last sent for everything and kind of revisiting where did this stop?
Mm.
And kind of almost like reintroducing the issue as a new
Right,
person to these people. Because I don't know what was said, I don't know
exactly.
what avenues he's tried to go down, and maybe somebody's more willing to talk to me than,
Mhm.
I don't know, so.
Like you could take on Robinson's, right?
That'd be
I
great.
knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, so
You
with,
guys would like
Do
that.
we need to have a discussion though about, like, doesn't the select board name?
No point, right? How do we do that?
yeah, so I was thinking about that, so I'm not sure if you guys have to appoint or not, because it automatically falls to me when
Because
there's
it's
not,
open?
when there isn't one. It resorts back to me, so I don't know if you guys have to tell me it's me, even though I have no choice in the matter.
I mean, there is a choice, because you can name the planning board as a temporary, I mean, you can name the planning board as.
Oh, no.
As the
You're not gonna have a
CEO.
planning board for very long.
There are other options. I think in a temporary capacity, I think it's the way to go, because it seems most seamless, but I also think that you have a lot on your plate.
I think that
Put this on
maybe,
your plate as well.
I guess we'll have to see how the next month goes with how many people we get, and maybe it's, I do the majority of the building permit applications, and then maybe the planning board could help me with violations or something.
I can drop the hammer.
And that might be a little bit helpful to kind of break up.
I just mean in
the,
the long term.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do it long term.
no,
Like, it
Nor
it
do I.
can't be.
Yeah.
I like to be
And so-
people's friends, and being CEO
You don't
makes
get
me,
to.
I don't get to be their friend.
Yeah.
No.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
And I think in a temporary capacity, it works fine, but I do think long-term, like if we got into a situation where you're acting as both the town manager and the CEO, like I know it's legal, but
Yeah,
I
It
think
makes
it
it
could be a
difficult.
conflict and
it
so
does.
I'd like to not see it be a long-term thing, but I thank you for being willing.
Yeah. Hey, no problem.
But-
I love hats. I just can't get enough of them.
Oh, thank you.
Sure thing.
All right, let's see, old business, we had scheduled transfer station.
Workshop,
Workshop.
yeah, so, I have talked with Jim, and he basically says, whenever you guys are available to do something, he'll sit down and any day, just pick something out and he'll make it work.
Are we feeling this needs to get done before the end of the year, or?
Or it could be the first thing we do in 2026.
Yeah, because that would, yeah, we
Well-
still have time before the new
Well, I was just
budget
thinking,
and everything came out.
right,
so we
maybe
could
it
adjust.
could be like a workshop where we discuss the new budget season and see what the needs are and stuff
Well,
like
Think about that.
Yeah.
So it'd be springtime.
So it'd be like
February.
February, yeah.
That sounds good.
When we're in extra meeting mode anyway.
Right, exactly.
All right, February is.
So in January, we'll revisit this conversation and
Yeah.
plan for February.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Unless there's something pressing that Jim needs to,
he'd be sure to let me know.
yeah.
Is that meeting gonna be open to the public?
Absolutely, you're more than welcome. More the merrier.
We need wisdom, Brian, so I hope you'll come.
You're gonna get it.
It's in short for
Oh, all right, town-owned CDs.
All right, so, last time we talked, I talked about some of the CDs and how I know what some of them are, some of them not so much. So the ones that I do know what they are, the Chapin Cash, the C&J Durham and the Bergen Durham. So I just reinvested is into 6-month CDs
Okay.
at 3.93%, which is about 3.93% more than what we were earning prior
We're
to.
breaking it in. We're gonna solve the
So
problem.
that's cool, that's fun.
I love your positivity.
Yes. So it will already be significantly earning more than what we were before. Some of them, so this actually I didn't mention in my town manager report because it kind of goes with this. So the chapin cash was for the needy and poor. And it's up to the discretion of the select board who that is. So recently we just kind of started, I don't want to use the term food pantry, but food pantry downstairs. We started a little closet and my idea is it would have more than like it would have toilet paper, paper towels, that kind of stuff. And it could be more like, if we know somebody that's going through something, we could just pack them up a box and just go and leave it at their house. They don't necessarily have to come to us
Right.
and tell us that they're struggling. If we know ahead of time.
I mean, if we wait for that.
Well, that's true, that's true, but in mine and Marty's position, we know
You know.
usually.
Right, of course.
And
Yeah.
so, one of the ideas that I've had is for that chaping cash, maybe using the interest earned off the, CD every year just gets put into this fund.
Right.
I called it the Sunshine Fund for now. So we received, $1,000 donation that I also receipted into this Sunshine Fund. And we are doing, a couple of Thanksgiving meals, for people, but we haven't had a huge reach out for Thanksgiving meals, but I also think that there's a lot of resources for Thanksgiving.
True.
So I think we need to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Where there aren't a lot of other resources and, you know, those times that like, they don't necessarily need ongoing help or general assistance or anything like that. It's just, they really need toilet paper or they really like very minimal things. So that's just an idea as to what I had for that money. And that way the principal just sits in the CD and then the interest just goes into the Sunshine Fund every
Okay,
year.
that's what I was curious about.
So,
And that other one that was the health,
The-
wellness or?
yeah, so the
health-
Monson Better Health, that one, I'm gonna have to, I don't know, talk to the attorney to see what we can even do with it, because it has been called this for years and years and years and years and years, and there's no rules.
Is that one tied to a family donation? I
I
can't
don't even
remember.
know.
Okay,
I don't even know. I don't know how it originated. All I know, at one point it was called Monson Butter Health Association. So there was an association at some point that had jurisdiction over this money, and then the association went away, but the money still has stayed there. It's gonna get you.
He's fixing it, so it
So I guess just, I'm gonna have to ask the attorney, what can we do with this money and like, what,
Can we restart the association and
right,
just from,
because I know like in Dexter, they have like a public health association or whatever, and they have a nurse that does like an open clinic once a week, I think.
Yeah, she's also wonderful to work with when we had a good health involved person.
Yeah, when I started in Garland, we had a blood pressure clinic once a week, every Wednesday. And you could just come get your blood pressure checked for free with the public nurse. So maybe it's working with other communities that are already doing that with a nurse to try to pair up with them. I think Monson's a little bit of a drive for a Dexter person, but maybe not, depending if
You
it's
could
only.
probably get a public health nurse to come up here.
So those are just some of the ideas that.
I wonder, you know, like Sue is our public health officer, how that all works.
Right.
She, yeah.
Right.
She's a nurse practitioner too.
Yes, she is. So that was some of my ideas, is just thinking like, I guess if we use it health related, there are no rules because there's nothing that says we can't, it says Monson Better Health right on it.
We'll see what the attorney says, but I
Right.
like the idea of
Right.
starting it.
Something that has, and then, there's money in there. There's not a lot of money, but I mean, like, almost $10,000 is not nothing either, so.
It's just been sitting there for all these years, because it hasn't been earning any interest.
Right,
Perfect.
right.
And then were there two others that were related to recreation?
Yes, so the Burke and Durham and the C&J Durham were both recreation. So I don't know. I did just reinvest those two also into a 6-month CD. So I don't know what to do with it, but maybe, an idea would be putting interest from, well, I don't think we can combine them because they're two separate donations from two separate families. It's the same family, just generations down the line. But maybe taking some of the interest to put towards the fireworks every year.
Right.
Because that would be something that's recreation that happens for sure every year, and they're only getting more expensive.
It's a big chunk.
It is a big chunk, so maybe that's an idea. Because I think we can only spend the interest on some of these. I don't know what the actual rules are, and depending, I mean, a lot of it could be interest because it's just been sitting for so many years anyways. I don't know what the original principal amount was to begin with, so.
Well, I know that the Durhams paid for us to ski when we were young. I don't know if it was through that. Like, we would go, I can't remember how many times in the winter, but there'd be a bus and it would take all 5th graders, I think it was, up into the mountain. But he may have paid that out of pocket, I don't know, too.
Because the schools do that. Well, some
Now
of the
they do.
schools do that.
They do, right? But it might be, I mean, where they're tied to families, is there any obligation to
Yeah, it just,
involve them?
no,
Okay.
no, just recreation is all it says in
Cool.
their will, so.
It would be, I don't know, we used to have like a lifeguard at the beach in the summers.
That's an idea too.
And we don't
We talked
anymore.
about that a few years ago, remember?
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
Or swim lessons.
James taught swim lessons, I know.
Yeah, he was mowing the cemeteries.
We could hire James to teach swimming.
I'm not
lessons.
certified anymore. I don't know.
but you know how to save them, right? Cause you're an EMT, so
I do
something
know how to
happens.
save them.
that's an idea though, is.
They use it for that.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not gonna get a lifeguard for very long on the interest.
I think we budgeted like
No.
$500 that year when there was talk about that. You remember that?
While back.
Yeah, it was quite a while back. It was probably like.
Maybe Molly wants to be a lifeguard.
I mean, if you could find someone to teach swimming lessons,
Yeah.
you could do that, but geez, it's a horrible place to learn to swim, I can tell you, as someone that taught there. Always white caps coming right into.
Oh,
the
really? You learn real fast, but.
You do learn, it's high stakes.
Yeah.
I tried to pass my life-saving merit badge there. Dick Marshall was the leader, and I avoided drowning, but just barely.
Exactly.
that's funny. So yeah, that's my ideas for now, and
Sounds good.
once we get
Perfect.
actually some revenue from some of these
Right.
here, CDs will be nice.
All right. Onward.
Yes,
I'm just so happy that we have
Yes.
paved.
the Elliotsville Road culverts and the North Guilford Road culvert are paved now.
Are they gonna be okay in the winter? And like, they dip a little still.
Yeah, and so he swears that they're gonna be okay. He's the best salesman there is, I swear. Because I was like, I was concerned about the temperature outside,
Mhm.
and he was like, oh no, it's fine, it's fine. He's like, plus this road needs to be paved anyways, and I was like,
I'm gonna say they're still paved in the backside of Charleston Hill right now.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
true, right.
so.
This company,
No.
that did, oh, no, just in general.
Yeah. So, and we won't even touch on the ditching on the state road.
There was just a big post about that.
Yeah, I
They
heard.
have to do some.
Put signage on the
Yeah,
curves.
it's not gonna
and
help
shoulders.
anybody.
Truck off the road
They said there was a
on
sign up.
Spectacle Pond curve.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Box truck.
Oh,
They go off the road
That's
all the
what I was
time.
talking
Yeah.
On
Swings
Spectacle
right on
Corner,
back
yeah.
to- Right on, off a dry road, so I know it didn't slide.
Narrow
All right.
shoulder.
We had miscellaneous,
no shoulder.
3 things.
Three
Well, there's
things.
quite a shoulder there.
So,
Just
2 of
drops
them
off.
are yours, so. Ask me the question that you want to ask me about the county budget, and I'll see if I can answer.
Okay, I haven't looked at it in detail, but I know there's a lot of cuts proposed with county tax.
Yes.
And I'm just concerned in terms of the things that they're cutting, how that might affect Monson.
Well, it's going to.
Yeah,
It's gonna affect all of us, because
Right.
like I said, the food pantry, for starters, they
They did have a meeting
did.
on Monday night,
mhm,
and there were about 40 odd people there. And everybody spoke, and the upshot of that was that some of the money was restored for some of the nonprofits, not all of the nonprofits. And I know that PRFC got 15 or 1,800. But they never fund some things.
Right.
it looked like the economic development, was cut, yeah.
Yeah, all of the nonprofits, all of them, except for
Country hospital.
Pine Tree Hospice were cut,
Right.
so.
But I think all but economic development will be restored, as I understand it, this is secondhand. but
I looked at the Facebook post on what was restored or proposed, but I was just curious if you heard anything like from the county manager in terms of why those cuts were made.
I think honestly, I haven't spoke with him because the county manager's meeting happened to be when I was on vacation
Okay.
this month.
Yeah,
So I haven't been able to touch base with him since the budget, I have reviewed budget.
right.
But from a manager standpoint, if you're trying to cut a budget that is already the bare bones,
Yeah.
you cut what you're giving away. And unfortunately, that is the saddest answer I can give you.
Yeah.
But it's the only part of the budget that's not maintaining, and it's not what's keeping us afloat. And I know that Mike has worked really hard trying to keep the county budgets lower. And just like us, they're struggling in the same capacities. All of their infrastructure are aging, they've acquired new territory like Atkinson, and so
Right.
because they deorganized a few years ago, therefore they got 27 miles of extra road to maintain and stuff like that. So I know that they're trying really hard to keep the budget down, and I guess that's just what the idea was, is to just keep
I understand
it. And I know that our portion of the original proposed budget, before they re-put some of the stuff back, our portion actually went down. But we'll see what it looks like when it's for real,
Right.
but,
Okay,
so yeah,
I was just curious if what was out there for info.
yeah.
Alright, so I know this, I try to like not forget things that
Yeah.
we've talked about in the past. And I understand the dangerous building on Tenny Hill, the yellow one with the
Yes.
park, is now
Town
owned.
yes.
So,
So I need to figure out
Yeah.
what we can do with the property now, because now that the tax acquired laws have changed so much, I don't even know what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do and what is required. Like, I know at one point in time, there was talk about you couldn't sell a dangerous building.
Right.
And
Right.
so you had to
Remove
remove it before you could sell that
That's
land.
what I was thinking, yeah.
But I don't know if that's the case, and if we do remove it, I'm assuming we can use that as expense.
Expense, right.
As part of,
You would keep that. if
Right.
you ended up
Right.
selling.
If the previous
I'm
owner,
assuming that we can, but
Right.
sometimes there's times you cannot, depending on what you did while you owned the property. So, I'm gonna have to touch base with the attorney to see what we can do or
Yeah.
what we should be doing, because if the town owns a tax acquired property that's dangerous, that also opens us up to some liability, I would assume.
exactly, that's
So-
why I brought that up. And MMA, I'm sure can help
Yeah.
us with this.
Speaking of that, that means it's town-owned building, we can go in and secure the door.
Mhm.
That's been open for the past 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
Why close it now?
I know.
And
It was
maybe some of the
supposed to be
windows.
taped off,
It might
actually,
fall
a long
down if
time
you do
ago.
that,
Needs to breathe.
I drive by there and it just gives me.
I just wait to see like the little eyes and some animals pop out, and look
Oh
out
my
the door when
gosh.
you
Oh, they're
drive by.
there, you can count on
Yeah.
it.
But this has been years and years. I mean,
Yeah.
your mom
Yeah.
asked me about this years ago and I was like.
Well, see, I wasn't sure how, like, because I know that the first year that we kind of talked about it, the process kind of got screwed up a little
Right.
bit, and so I wasn't really sure how to go about it, but now it for sure
It for
is
sure is
tax
town-owned,
owned,
right.
so,
Right.
Tear that down and the rats will be headed everywhere.
oh, Lanta.
All that animal control guy. Okay.
All right,
And I said that just because I probably will go secure the door. Cause it's bugging me.
Yeah.
okay, I'll let you.
Okay.
I won't call the cops and say you're trespassing.
Be careful.
The wind, you might. end up-
Yeah, stay outside.
All
All
right, you
right,
had abatement and supplemental tax.
yes, we have a couple, actually. They're all paper put together, so I'm assuming.
Interesting, okay.
I would have forgotten all about it.
That's just some husband's name, but this is not him.
Yeah, actually, when I saw his name on the caller ID earlier, I was like Sue's husband? And, Marty goes, oh, well, there's two of them, so I don't know which one it is.
That is so funny. I didn't know if the other one was still around. Okay. Okay. And so- That was so wild. We did have a delivery one time a few years ago that got delivered to the.
Oh. Almost done.
So maybe we need to talk to, Chris later.
Yeah, and I'll probably talk to David Ray too, and just to explain like why we are doing what we are doing, because it's obviously been an issue for a long time.
Yeah, that's just,
I
yeah,
don't remember anybody talking to them about. That's super long time ago.
Supposedly didn't.
it's supposed to be.
But the thing is like, even if I talk to David Ray's not the one that's there.
That's right.
And so it's going from me to David Ray, from David Ray to his person, and then whoever he has working for him that summer to, then it ends there, and so then we have to start the conversation over every summer, and
Yeah. And it's
It
the-
can be like a yearly training meeting, safety meeting.
Some of it's the mower. You
I was
can't
gonna
use
say,
that. You
right,
cannot.
you can't use those, yeah.
but and I just think it makes more sense to have the sexton do it anyways.
It'll probably cost you more, because if you're gonna blow it slow and not hit everything, it's gonna take more time.
And with a push mower and a weed whacker, it's gonna also look 10 times better
Yeah.
than with a large mower.
Yeah.
Then you won't get all that. So there was one straggly one that didn't get signed last time. Did we find that one? I don't know.
I signed one that I didn't
Yeah.
sign last.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was on that one.
Alright, so it was just one signature.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
looks good. Perfect.
All right. Anything else? We good? Make a motion to adjourn it. I'll just make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? 8:10.
Beautiful, love it.
Stuttered on those words.